Hey guys, Nick here from One Stop Tactical. Today I have the Glock 19 here. We have a Gen 4, a Gen 5, and a custom made Glock. Pretty much every piece on this guy is aftermarket, so that's something else I want to talk about. So if you stay tuned, right after this, we're going to get into the Glock 19.
You want to flick this? Okay. I'll play with you. Come on. Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend! Okay. You want to play rough? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You like that? Say hello to my little friend!
So the Glock 19 was introduced by Glock of Austria in 1988. They had released the Glock 17 earlier, and they wanted to make something a little more compact and suitable for carry for military and police. The 19 was basically a clone of the 17, just downsized and considered to be compact. The total length of the Glock 19 is 6.85 inches. The barrel itself is 4 inches and the gun weighs 21 ounces. This has changed slightly over the years, I believe. In 1988, when Glock released the 19, they were focusing primarily on police forces and military, giving them a compact, lighter weight gun than the 17 so that they could carry it. In 1990, the Swedish Army was the first agency to adapt the Glock 19. They actually dubbed the gun Pistol 88B. I'm not sure where they came up with that name, but more recently, 2015, the Navy SEALs decided to switch from the SIG 226, which was carried for a long time, and they now carry the Glock 19. So just to speak measures on how well the gun is manufactured and the reliability of it. To go from a SIG 226, which in my opinion and still to this day is one of the best handguns ever manufactured. Also, the Marine Special Ops Command carries the Glock 19 as well. So one of the biggest differences that Glock came out with was in the Gen 4 19. This was Glock's first attempt at kind of keeping up with the market and adapting the customizable grip. So with the Gen 4s, you're able to add your back straps on here. With the Gen 4s, they did also make the mag release ambidextrous, so you could remove it and swap it over to the other side. You also have a dual recoil spring versus one solid spring that was used on the generations before. So you have a dual spring there instead of one long solid spring, as I'll show you on my Lone Wolf Glock here. Probably one of the most popular things about the Glock at the time was, being one of the first polymer frame pistols, the reliability of it, the weight of the gun, and then also that easy disassembly versus something like a 1911. So this guy here is a Lone Wolf Timberwolf frame. The slide and barrel are from Glock. The rest of the gun is all pretty much aftermarket parts. You'll see that Gen 3 and prior generation one long solid recoil spring there. The mag releases were not swappable. The cutout on this side of the grip was different than this side. I believe there was some aftermarket kits that you could make it a lefty with though. The Glock 19 is the Honda Civic of firearms. They're everywhere. You can get them easily, and there is a ton of parts out there, and you can customize the gun however you want. So an example of that would be this gun. This has a metal trigger, it has the Timberwolf frame, it has Trijicon HD night sights. These are the H3s, I believe. Yes, H3s. It's a really good gun. I mean, it's very easy to work on. You barely need any tools. A punch if you want to really break it apart. Extended slide release as well on this, and extended slide release levers to take the gun apart with. The Punisher logo, you know, you need that. It makes you more accurate. Now the Gen 5 Glock. So Glock has now again attempted to open up its market. They removed the finger grooves. I guess they had a lot of people, you know, who didn't like the grooves. They wanted a thinner grip. The grip is definitely the thinnest of all the Glock generations. They flared out that mag well, so for quick reloading, it is pretty effective, I gotta say. You know, I mean, in a 3-gun situation or any competitive shooting, it definitely makes for much quicker reload. So internally, they stuck obviously with the double recoil spring, and then mag release I believe is still swappable, but you do have ambidextrous slide releases, so they have opened up to the left-handed market big time. One thing you will notice on the Gen 5s though is the release. It's got much more meat to it right off the bat versus the Gen 4 in previous generations, so it is much easier to release, and you don't actually have to go out and buy an extended slide release if you didn't want to. Otherwise, you know, safeties and internals pretty much similar to all the other generations there. And of course the Gen 5 still has all your back straps to play around with. The Glock box, I don't remember what year they switched from the Tupperware bowl. So you have back straps 2mm and 4mm without the tail, and then 2mm, 4mm with the tail. They give you the punch kind of built into the holder there to push the rear pin out, and your longer pin to put these in. Other difference you'll notice, Gen 4 prior, and then the Gen 5 mags now coming with the orange follower. So that's something they switched. You can open the gun and it's a lot easier to tell that the chamber is empty. So that's a pretty cool feature too. Gen 4 and up, they started including 3 magazines with all the guns. So the price increased by almost exactly the price of a magazine. Of course, they give you your brush and rod. They've been doing that for just about ever. Orange cable lock included with every new Glock. Something kind of cool I have here. This is the 25 years of Glock anniversary edition box. I've actually never seen another one of these. Some different components in here. Trigger springs, the ghost spring if you want to lighten up your trigger, extended magazine release, factory sights. So again, every piece of the Glock can actually be purchased aftermarket. Barrels you can get from Lone Wolf, Storm Lake, a bunch of other companies. Zev makes extremely nice slides, so you can just build a whole Glock 19 without one part actually being from Glock. So if you're into modding guns and customizing them, Glock is definitely high up on the list for customizability. I would say probably number 1 side and side with the 1911 as far as pistols go. I personally carry a Glock 19 almost every day. I recently went to a Shield in 45 only because it's a little bit lighter and thinner, and I got to shoot one and it handles extremely well. But Glock 19 is still kind of my go-to gun. SIG 229 is right up there as well, but that's a little bit heavier for everyday carry. So Glock 19 kind of hits right in the middle. It's light enough and small enough to carry and conceal, but it's big enough to take to the range and shoot all day long. It's very accurate, very reliable, very smooth shooting gun. So, you know, as far as hitting that sweet spot for carry versus target shooting, you know, the Glock 19 really does land almost right in the middle. So anybody looking for a good carry gun that they can take out and shoot consistently, Glock 19, definitely one to look at. As far as magazine capacity goes, the Glock 19 originally would come with a 15-round magazine. It would accept the Glock 17 mags as well, which was a 17-round magazine. So you got the 17-round Glock 17 mag and a 15-round Glock 19 magazine. Of course, in our great state of Connecticut, the Glock 19 will come with a 10-round magazine. You had the Glock 32-round magazine, the fun stick. These things in a Glock, you get a few of these loaded up before you hit the range, and obviously you could spend all day just shooting away. I think they originally designed this because of the Glock 18 I don't know if they had them prior to the Glock 18 or not, which, if you don't know, is the fully automatic version of the Glock 19 pretty much. I guess Glock does make a 19 round magazine as well. So quick disassembly, one of the easiest guns to disassemble. Little trick versus having to hold the gun in this manner. If you lock the slide back, you know, it's empty, the magazine's out. Hold these two levers down and release the slide. That'll get it past the lock. Pull the trigger and the slide actually comes right off. Very simple to disassemble. I mean, it doesn't get much easier. So, field stripped. If you need to go a little further, it's still not very hard. You got a pin back here, 2 pins up here. You pull those pins out, all the internals will come out of the Glock. Trigger comes out as an assembly. Very easy to change springs and different components on these. That's why they're so popular for modifying. And there you got it. That's all there is to it. Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5. This just happens to be a custom Lone Wolf Timberwolf frame, but it's a Gen 3 slide and barrel in there. So with your Gen 3s, you had a standard mag release, standard right-handed slide release. Gen 4s, they added the possibility to swap the mag release around for left-handers. Still just a single-sided slide release. And then they also added your back straps on here. 4 different back straps available. And then they also went to the dual recoil spring on the Gen 4s. Still plastic sights. I don't know when the last time they used metal sights. They did for the summer release, just recently offer the metal sights again. Gen 5, same makeup as the Gen 4 for the most part. You got your back straps. No finger grooves on the Gen 5s, so you got a very thin, smooth grip there. Ambidextrous mag release again, and ambidextrous slide release. A first for Glock. Still using the dual recoil spring, which was a better design that they found. They were using that in the subcompacts for a long time, and then they just decided to use it on the compacts and full sizes as well. So, plastic sights again. The finish is a little bit different on the Gen 5s too, and they're not using the polygonal rifling anymore. And you can actually tell just by looking at it, it's got like a crown on that barrel instead now. They found it was keeping much tighter groups that way. So until the Gen 6 comes out, that's what we got. And now is a great time to buy a Gen 3 because most places are blowing them out. So, you know, they were originally about $4.99 for a Gen 3, $5.49 for the Gen 4, and $5.59 for the Gen 5. At least that's what we get for them here in the store. So I know MSRP is, I think, $6.99 on the Gen 5s. Some places might actually ask that, but that's crazy. So there you go. Generations of Glock explained. And that's our show for today. I'm going to try to do one of these episodes every week. My plan is to post the episodes up on Saturday. So we'll talk about a different gun every week, talk about the history of it. Like I said, possibly do a review of the gun, take it to the range if I can get time to get out. If you have any specific guns that you'd like me to talk about or review, please post them in the comment. It can be a pistol or rifle, either one, just as long as it's something I can hopefully get my hands on. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. Make sure to hit subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode.